Final Fantasy VII doesn't open with text or explanation. It opens with a feeling. A single flower. A single face. And then, the city. Midgar isn't just large. It's layered. Built vertically, mechanically, and socially. The plates above, the slums below, all of it communicated visually, without a single line of dialogue needing to explain it. On the original PlayStation, this was achieved through pre-rendered backgrounds stitched together with real-time character models. Memory limitations force Square to be precise. Every shot here is composed, every camera angle chosen to sell scale rather than detail. And once that scale is established, the game doesn't linger. It cuts straight to movement. The opening train sequence is aggressive in its pacing. You don't create a character. You don't choose a name. You don't even know what the mission is. You're already late.
Get down here, Merc.
Cloud jumps from the train without hesitation, and in doing so, the game immediately defines him through action rather than dialogue. This is a design philosophy FFVII leans on heavily: show first, explain later, if at all. The first battles quietly teach you everything you need to know. The active time battle gauge is always filling. Enemies don't wait politely. And even weak opponents can punish inattention. What's important here is flow. Final Fantasy VII wants combat to feel rhythmic, not frantic, but never passive. Attacking, waiting, reacting, adjusting. Even at this early stage, party positioning, turn timing, and command choices matter, a depth that only becomes more apparent as systems layer on later.
Unbelievable. You soldier guys sure are something. Hard to believe we got a guy like you in a group like Avalanche.
So, what's Soldier Boy's deal? Is he one of us now? Thought they were the enemy.
He isn't soldier anymore, Jesse. Besides, he's a professional, unlike the rest of us. What was your name again?
Cloud Strife.
Cloud Strife, eh? I'm
not interested. Once this job's over, I'm out of here.
What did I just say? Told you to never move as a group. Our target's Mako Reactor 1. We'll rendezvous at the bridge in front of it. You better be worth the money, Merc. Every last gil.
Run by holding cancel while using the direction buttons.
Stepping into Reactor 1 feels invasive.
So, Soldier Boy, this your first time in a reactor?
The environment hums. Pipes pulse.
Did you forget? I did work for Shinra, remember?
Green Mako energy pulses through the structure like
I
veins.
remember. I know full well that you've been Shinra's lapdog. Bet you guys just eat up everything they tell you, huh? Like what Mako is.
This isn't just a dungeon, it's industrialized nature.
Well, let me tell you what they won't. Mako's not just some energy source. It's the lifeblood of the planet. And Shinra's using all this crap to suck it dry.
You're not paying me to listen, so save it.
You right. Looks like we gotta keep Lapdog on a tight leash.
A visual metaphor that lands immediately, even if the full implications won't be clear until much later. The soundtrack here reinforces that idea: synthetic, mechanical, almost sterile, a sharp contrast to the organic themes used elsewhere in the game. Without stopping gameplay, FFVII is already teaching you what Shinra represents.
Push that button for me, will ya?
This reactor's sole purpose is to drain the planet dry. And one day, it'll all be gone. The hell you think's gonna happen when it's all gone, huh? Can you really live with that?
I can and I will. I'd worry less about the planet, and more about what's waiting for us down there.
Barrett and Cloud's dynamic begins here, and it's intentionally uncomfortable. Barrett is passionate to the point of recklessness. Every line he delivers is loaded with belief, anger, and urgency. Cloud, by contrast, is detached, efficient, emotionally distant. The game never tells you who to side with, it simply places these two worldviews side by side and lets friction do the storytelling. And that tension makes even basic movement through the reactor feel charged.
Press confirm.
Lightning!
Planting the bomb is almost understated. No heroic speech. No dramatic countdown yet. Just a device placed inside something far bigger than the characters themselves. Here, FFVII does something clever. It denies catharsis. The moment doesn't feel triumphant, it feels uneasy. The reactor hasn't exploded yet, but the line has been crossed.
When we blow this place, there ain't gonna be nothing left but a pile of rubble. Alright, Lapdog. Why don't you set up the bomb?
Shouldn't you do this? I'll watch the rear.
As far as I'm concerned, you're the one that needs watching. So go on, do the honors.
Fine.
Wake up. This isn't just a reactor.
Huh?
I said, what is it? Something wrong?
I'm fine.
What in the hell? You better not have double-crossed us!
The Guard Scorpion isn't just a boss, it's a systems tutorial disguised as a threat. On the surface, it's simple, a large mechanical enemy with a limited move set. But underneath that simplicity is one of the clearest examples of how Final Fantasy VII teaches through consequence rather than instruction. The most famous moment comes early. Attack while its tail is up, it's gonna counterattack with its laser. What's important here isn't the warning, it's how the game reacts if you ignore it. The fight doesn't pause. It doesn't force a tutorial window. It lets you make the mistake. And when the tail laser hits, the damage is severe enough to be remembered, but rarely fatal. This is deliberate. Square wanted the lesson to hurt, not end the run. ATB pressure and player timing. Technically, this fight is also where the active time battle system begins to show its teeth. The Guard Scorpion has higher HP than anything you've faced so far, attacks that punish autopilot behavior, and windows where waiting is the correct decision. This is crucial. FFVII is quietly teaching that not acting can be as important as acting.
Don't attack
Watching
when
the
its tail
enemy's
is up.
animation state becomes as
will
important as
counterattack
watching
with its
your
laser.
ATB gauge. That's a fundamental shift from earlier Final Fantasy entries, and it happens here, minutes into the game. Camera, scale and memory tricks. From a technical perspective, the Guard Scorpion arena is doing a lot of heavy lifting. The pre-rendered background exaggerates depth, while the boss sprite itself is scaled far larger than the party models. This contrast sells weight and danger without needing complex animations.
I'm coming for you!
On the PlayStation, enemy models like this were designed with
Make it
limited
easy on
polygon
yourself and give up
counts,
now.
reused animation frames, and carefully chosen camera angles to hide those limitations. The result is a boss that feels massive, even though it's built under strict memory constraints. Mechanical themes in design. There's also thematic intent baked into the mechanics. The Guard Scorpion doesn't feel alive. It doesn't react emotionally. It doesn't adapt. It executes routines. Laser. Clamp. Counterattack. This mirrors Shinra's approach to control, automated, impersonal, and destructive. Even this early, FFVII is aligning gameplay behavior with narrative themes. You're not fighting a monster. You're fighting policy. And just as you're allowed to breathe, the timer reminds you that the real danger isn't the boss you just defeated. It's the place you're standing in.
The alarm. Come on, we gotta move.
With the Guard Scorpion defeated, Final Fantasy VII does something interesting. It goes quiet. There's no new exposition. No dramatic speeches. Just a timer, and the sound of the reactor breaking down around you. This stretch relies almost entirely on player-driven tension. The music shifts, the color palette flashes between emergency reds and industrial greens, and the same space you entered confidently now feels hostile. From a design standpoint, this is clever reuse. You're retracing familiar ground, but under completely different emotional conditions, a classic technique to create urgency without building new environments. Mechanically, everything you've learned so far is now being tested at once. Combat decisions are faster. Menus feel heavier. Every second spent in battle is a second stolen from escape.
You alright?
My leg's stuck. Help a girl out, would ya? Whew. My hero.
The active time battle system doesn't change, but your relationship to it does. Where earlier fights encouraged experimentation, the escape encourages efficiency. The game is quietly teaching you that systems don't just exist in isolation, they exist within context. Technically, the escape sequence benefits from something the PlayStation did particularly well: predictable streaming. Because you're moving through already loaded areas, the system can focus resources on effects, alarms, lighting changes, UI pressure, rather than loading new geometry. That's why this section feels smooth, even as tension rises. The hardware constraints actually work in the game's favor. The illusion of speed here isn't about frame rate, it's about responsiveness. Notice what the game doesn't do. It doesn't introduce new enemies. It doesn't complicate objectives. It doesn't add new mechanics. Everything here is about momentum. Final Fantasy VII understands that escalation doesn't always require spectacle. Sometimes it's about removing safety nets and letting the player feel exposed. And beneath all of this, there's an uncomfortable undercurrent. You don't see civilians. You don't hear screams. You don't witness the immediate impact of what you've done. That absence is intentional. The game withholds consequence, for now, letting doubt linger longer than certainty. It's restraint that gives later moments their weight. As the timer winds down and the exit comes into view, the mission doesn't feel complete. It feels unfinished.
Ooh, that should keep the planet going. At least a little longer.
Yeah! The planet's what matters. This had to have helped.
Can't wait to see Marlene.
And she's good to go. Now stand clear. Fire in the hole!
And when the explosion finally comes, it doesn't answer questions. It creates them.
My house is on fire!
All right, let's get our asses home. We'll rendezvous on the train. Split up and make your way to Sector 8 station.
Hey, wait!
If it's about your money, you can have it once we're back at base.